But in the U.S., John talked about Korean Americans having a good reputation, and African Americans not have. Well, I'm saying it. African Americans don't have a good reputation. That's relatively recent. Before, African Americans used to be known for education as a key drive, particularly in the 40s up to the 50s, and then the 60s things changed. But anyway, to answer your question, there is a perception in the U.S. that minorities, whether they're African Americans or Latinos, those are usually the two ones that people focus on, that somehow advancement for those groups would mean that other groups do not advance. That's really what it means. That's what people are thinking about. And the way I see it, and obviously people don't need to agree, but the way I see it is that sort of thinking, the premise of that thinking is that the pie will never get larger, that the opportunities are really all the same, and that, or at least the opportunities are fixed, and that I can only advance if you do not, and that you suffer. So that's the first thing, and I reject that sort of thinking. I do believe opportunities can expand for everybody. That's the first thing. But then the response will be, let's say, how about at a university where there is a fixed number of places, and that the number of students cannot expand. And I think the thing is, with at least the thinking of those who talk about reverse discrimination, and for the record, I don't believe there's reverse discrimination. There's discrimination, whether it's reverse or not. It's discrimination. So there's no such thing as reverse discrimination in my book. But these schools, how can I say it, the criteria for acceptance, as John Lee said, isn't necessarily always your test score or your grades. And many times people have a conception that, well, only the smartest persons with the highest grades, the highest test scores get into these schools. And that's really not true. For the longest time, students who parents went to these prestigious universities got into these places. At MIT, where I have my degree, it used to be primarily a male school, basically. And MIT made a conscious decision that it did want to admit females. So did less males get accepted into MIT? MIT said, yes, less males, we will accept less males. It's a decision MIT made because MIT had a conception of what type of school it wanted to have or to be. And so, in regards to whether you want to play the race card or not, or that's what they talk about in the U.S. So let's be blunt. Let's talk about it, right? If you want to play the race card, people ask me that question too. Well, how do you feel if someone, have you played a race card, or you're at a university and someone thinks you shouldn't be there? How does that make you feel? And my response is, well, okay, well, I'm at MIT. It's a very competitive place. When I feel that way, if I think someone thinks I shouldn't be here, okay, that's how they think. There's nothing I can do about it. I need to do my best, and that might change their minds. But if it doesn't change their mind, that's all I can do. I cannot do more than that, and therefore I sleep well at night.